Another good day of writing behind us. I wrote later in the day than usual today, which is kind of fun. It's nice to kind of see the sun set and it grow dark as you're writing. Really a nice vibe. Picked another scene today from our list of 6 or so that we made. This is one that I've been picturing in my head for 2 weeks now, probably. Quite fun to write. I suspect that the final scene will change pretty substantially from what I've written tonight, but it was good to finally get it out of my head and onto paper. I feel like I can construct the major beats of the scene how I want to now that I've sort of had a first go at it. I'll talk more in detail about that in the sort of after action report though. Let's go ahead and roll the time lapse of our writing session today, day 31. So today we wrote a scene that if I do it well, it will be very near the end of part 1 of the novel. I envision there being 4 parts to this novel. The outline of sequences that I've created draws really heavily on the same structure that I would use if I were writing a film, and the sort of classic Hollywood style outline. It's kind of 4 acts. They call it 3-act structure. But if you break it down sequence by sequence, first act is 2 sequences. The second act is 4 sequences that are split in half by the most important moment of the movie, typically. But rather than making that huge middle part, which dwarfs the first and third acts, 2 separate acts split in half by that midpoint, we call it the second act. I'm not really sure what the rationale is, but the point is, when you actually break down these major parts into their component elements and each one has its own little arc, then in that case there are 4 major arcs to the story, 4 main parts. And I think that's what I'm going to do for this novel. The scene that I've just written, some version of it would work well as a button to end on for part 1. Our major characters have gathered in one place. I know that there's going to be a few week time skip as they get sort of frozen, almost literally frozen in place. They're in a mountain pass. Winter comes. They're stuck in a singular lodge together for a while. We have sort of a training montage kind of thing coming up. So this is a good place to end part 1. But that does not mean that I have actually finished part 1 yet, because I haven't. There are multiple POV scenes that need to be sort of checkerboarded in behind this scene to fill out the rest of the part. It was very fun to write this scene. It sort of ends on a juicy little conflict, and it ends on sort of a promise of something really satisfying happening. There's some good foreshadowing in there. I do think even just sitting here 15 minutes later, I think I'm going to need to rewrite this scene to be more dramatic. I've noticed that a common way I edit my stories is I need to go back in, and honestly, things need to be heightened pretty frequently. I am so afraid of being soap opera-ish that I will sort of unconsciously rein in and do like a minimalist version of the core conflict and drama. And almost always it needs to be amped up by the time I'm writing a second draft of any story. I rarely reach for all the dramatic things in the toolkit when I really should. Like your favorite movies, your favorite books, even the ones that are a little bit more pared back, a little bit more minimalist, once you dissect them, I think it is surprising how dramatic stories are. I think it is surprising how much drama is pumped into every single inflection point in the story. And you're really trying to get as much human emotion out of it as you can. Even something that seems really subtle, or even something that is really, really subtle, is also full of heightened emotion and drama. Like you think about really excellent TV shows, which often on the surface, like really excellent, like A grade TV is, slow and simmering and seems subtle and is you got things boiling over the long term that come to like a well orchestrated head. Even in those, like the moment to moment drama is so much more heightened than reality. Like you think of something like Andor, for example, or The Pit, two shows that I've been watching recently. Those are shows that feel incredibly grounded, and they are. And the story, and to make a story feel like that is so difficult. I can't imagine having written either of those shows. But the drama is there. Like they are squeezing every dramatic element they can out of every little inflection point in those stories to just great masterful effect. And so I know I need to go in and dial up a lot of the drama in my scenes, this one especially. I think it reads very fun right now, but there is an opportunity to hit harder. Plus, with a scene like this, where we've been with different characters for the whole story thus far, 100 pages so far, and they are meeting now in one space, and a conflict that's been hinted at this whole time is sort of coming to a head. If I've managed to write well, and a reader reads 100 pages and gets to something like that, both you, the writer, and the reader have earned a little bit of drama happening. I think you've earned something satisfying and cathartic and big. And so I want to definitely come back to this scene and sort of play up the conflict and the dramatic elements and see if I can't obviously hone in the dialogue as well. But it was a good session. I wrote just over 1,250 words, I think 1,258 words, which puts our total for the project so far at 28,884. I'm recording this on a Friday night, and I suppose there's a chance that this is my end of week 5 video, but I didn't get enough written this week, and I really think I should work again tomorrow, Saturday, and get another writing session pushed out. I think that is probably called for. I'm not doing the math day to day, but I know mathematically we're going to run out of runway if I keep doing what I'm doing, just skipping a day every now and then during the week, and then only writing 1,250-ish words on the other days. I'm going to need to slot in a Saturday or a Sunday to catch up and fill in the gap on that word count, because I really do want to hit 50,000. I want, and not just for the word count itself, I really want as many pages as I can get out of this to edit later before I get stranded from this project for a few months once that new term of grad school starts. We'll maybe get a little bit more writing done tomorrow. And if the thumbnail of this video said end of week 5, though, that means I didn't end up writing tomorrow. Either way, thank you for checking in. I really appreciate it. As always, if this is your first time checking in, welcome. Feel free to scroll through the backlog and catch up on the project so far. We're trying to write the first 50,000 words of my first novel in 8 weeks. And this is either the end or just under the end of week 5. Thank you guys again for checking in, and I will be back with another update either very soon or next week. Hope you have a great weekend, and I appreciate you checking in.